I asked Jody if she wanted to write something about Marshall's life, and she sent me a letter earlier today, and I'm going to go ahead and read these words from her. Marshall was the greatest man I've ever known. I do not say that as a figure of speech. I mean that in a very literal way. There's not a human I've ever met who was as good as him. Would do anything for anyone. Patient, kind, generous. He was every good thing in this world. Marshall was the best dad, the best husband, the best friend, and the best employee. He adored me and his kids. No matter how tired, worn out, sore from working, he made time for us. He took care of us. When the girls were babies, May would get her blocks out every day when he was on his way home from work, and she would stand at the door and wait for him, and when he got home, he sat straight in the floor every day to build with her. Around that same age, he would come in and they would go straight to the fridge to do the cheese dance, and they'd eat a slice of cheese together. He was exhausted from work, but never too tired for his babies. Whether it was staying up after an overnight shift because Santa came, or getting up early after a late shift for a cheer competition or a softball game, he wasn't going to miss it. Our kids were everything to him. In the yard with his kids was his favorite place to be, and if he was out with the kids, he was ready for all the kids, neighbors, friends, cousins, whoever showed up. Playing with a leaf blower, teaching kids to ride bikes, pitching softballs, he was there. For just our kids, or if 50 kids showed up, it didn't matter to him. We have about 500 popsicles in my garage right now. He had popsicle days for neighborhood kids. It started off as Popsicle Friday, but when his shift changed, it became Popsicle Sunday. The little kids come over to play outside and eat a popsicle with him at least once a week. And it made for a good excuse to stand in the driveway and drink a beer with their dads too. He loved to be outside. Each morning he would make his coffee and go stand outside and lean against the bed of his truck while he drank it, just to be outside. He had a TV in the garage just so that he could be outside. He always loved fishing, but on his current shift, he went a lot more. Whether it was 15 minutes or an hour, he would run down to the pond before work at least a couple times a week. He'd rather be outside working in the heat than outside on the couch. His loyalty was unmatched to me, to his friends, and to his job. If he was doing something, it was going to be done correctly, whether that was being a friend, a dad, and a husband, completing a task at work, or just working on a project. He wanted to learn things. He wanted to know how to do things himself. He wanted to be good at whatever he did. He was patient, definitely the more mellow half of this relationship. And I ask him all the time, Marshall Ervin, why are you so good to me? He loved me well. We grew together. We started dating at 17, and at 20 years together, our relationship just kept getting better and better. Now, before I read this last part, I have a little disclaimer. Jody, I told you when I was at your house that I am here to serve you, and so I'm going to serve you right now. I wouldn't typically read this in church, but I'm going to read your words. We were standing in the ocean this summer on vacation. I said to him, lots of people in my life love me, but you choose me. Your family loves you, your kids love you, but that's a built-in love. You pick me on purpose. You wake up and choose to love me every day. And he just said something like this, and I quote, "Of course I do. You're my sweet-ass gal." There you go. I told Sheriff Gullidge I was going to read that, and he said, Pastor, I've got your back. Don't worry about it. His family was everything to him, his extended family as well. But we always talked about the 4 Ervs. That was it. Me, him, and the kids. We would do anything as long as we were together. The world is a better place for having Marshall in it. He was a light. He was an old soul. He was beautiful, perfect. He was a wonderful man. To know him was to love him. The girls and I were blessed for the time that we had with him. I want to thank everyone here today. Thank you for loving my precious husband. Thank you for loving me and my children. The outpouring of love and support for my family has been unbelievable. There have been so many moving parts, and everyone has been so patient and so kind. You have all filled my cup during the worst time of my life, and I will be forever grateful. Jody, that was beautiful. Let's watch a video in honor of Marshall's life.